This video is going to go over how to use Google Forms to make something like a case study or an interactive lesson. So this is the one I used to build the MCI Module 2 test. Basically at the first beginning there's always a defaulted section up here. You title it however you want. So whatever you title it here, we'll also save it as the file. In here as a description, I put in the links to the algorithms for start, triage, and jumpstart, and just kind of the overall instructions on how to do it. So I like to set mine up to where the first and foremost, the first page is just all the student information stuff. So basically just a name, certification number if it needs to be processed, and contact stuff. So for students in class, this could just be just their last name, first name, whatever need be. Then we go on down, and this is where you can add your next question or a section. So this little toolbar on the right side here, you can just simply add a question. You can add a title and a description. So we can just add that there just for an example. And it adds just the title in there just as a marker to where you can put in whatever you want that section to be called. So we'll just delete that. You can add images, which is what I've done here, adding the picture of this car accident. You can add a video, or you can add a section. So you see here from the first part of the student information down to this is where I added a section. So when you preview the screen, they'll only see this on the screen, then they'll have to hit next to continue to this. If you want to blend all these together, you can even just click here, merge with above, and it will add all that there together. And I just hit undo to redo that, or Control Z. Then here in the title description, I just put in a little scenario, typed all out, give a little bit of a visual stimulus here of what they're going to. So the scenario is that they're going to a car accident and scene's been secured, all this and that. So here's where you're going to add the next section, add the patient information, and this is the visual information for the patient. So I was just in here, added an image, and this is just a picture that I googled. Just goes through patients unable to walk, so on and so on, and then you can go down here and add the question for that. Okay, so then over here you'll see you got a drop down to where you can make that a multiple choice, check boxes, which means that you can check more than one. Multiple choice just gives you where you only pick one. Checking boxes is, checked all that apply, so on. A drop down to where you can add in multiple things, where but for quizzes this option isn't the best. This would be for to put in demographics for something. If you want to list, if you go and put in your personal information, or it can be a drop down menu where you select your state, this and that. So I'll show you just an example of it here. So we can add a question. You can make it a drop down menu, and you would add all the options in here, so of all the states, or you can change this multiple choice and add the green, yellow, red, or black in here. And then instead of selecting a multiple choice, they just hit a drop down and select their answer. So we're just going to delete that one out of there, and then add to the next section. So here just comes where it's more of an interactive scenario, more of a full simulation. So you get the picture of this patient here. Patient's lying on the roadway, unresponsive and apneic. What should you do first? So here we can put in a question, and then now if you select on where those questions are at, you'll see that depending on what option they select depends on where they go to next. So basically they have to select the right answer to go on to the next step. So which is your first step here is going to be to open the airway of the patient. So if you select any of the other ones, it's not going to give you the next one. So the three dots down here in the bottom on each question, so we can go to section based on answer. That's where you drop these in here. If you uncheck that, it just gives you a straightforward multiple choice like this. So you notice when you click on these that there is no option on there. For also in these multiple choices, you can add just a picture of something you want if you don't want to put that in as text. So here the right answer would be open airway, that would be go to the next section. If not, if you select any of the other ones, they're going to go to section 6, patient 3. So we see the next section is section 5. If you want to skip that next question that relates to the picture, you select that. So patient 2 continued. So again, I don't have go to section based on answer because this is the last section or last question for patient number 2. So then patient number 3, it's just a straightforward question, multiple choice, going on to the next section here. Then patient 4, what do you do first? And again, when you click in that area here, it'll pop up of what section you go to based on which answer that they give. So then again, if they don't pick the right answer, they're not going to see patient 4 continued. They're going to skip section 8 completely and go to section 9. Then again, if they haven't answered that right, they're not going to see any more questions related to patient number 4. They're going to skip section 8 and section 9 and go to this. So if they get one question wrong, they're definitely going to get a poor score. Now, once you've got all this stuff figured out about clicking in the box, selecting next to it, whenever they select that answer, what section that goes to, you can apply adding pictures in, everything, and then finally for the feedback at the top, you can click on responses, and then you can do a summary of multiple things, seeing how everybody answers, to kind of do your qualitative assessments on whatnot. Then also at the top you can do by question or individuals. The best part though is when you go to the clicker here and the little green box that opens up a Google Sheet, which is the Google version of Excel, and then this will give you a breakdown of everybody who's ever done it, all the input information they've given, their scores. So you can see here this particular student didn't do so good the first couple times around, and then finally they took it till they got 100%. And then you can see here where they've marked in the wrong options and they skipped one because they didn't put in the right answer. And it just gives you all the basic information here of what answers they put in so you can help remediate the student. And one more last thing, wherever you want to save this form, it will also save your spreadsheet in the same spot. So if you want to move this, wherever you have it titled up here, like you can go and change this to the name of the test, whatever you want to, but if you click on the little folder beside it, that'll bring up your little browser window of where you can save it all.